Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We have seen how the innermost island of the Bhu-mandala, which is known as Jambu-dvipa, has been divided into 9 Varshas, being separated by 8 natural boundaries, mountains, and one mountain which is placed exactly in the middle of the entire Bhu-mandala. So this entire Jambu-dvipa is surrounded by saltwater ocean, whose width is equal to the diameter of the Jambu-dvipa. In its middle, there is a mountain known as Mount Meru, which is also as high as the length of the Jambu-dvipa. Having seen different divisions of Jambu-dvipa, now let us see the details of the middlemost Varsha of this entire Jambu-dvipa, which is known as Ilavrta Varsha. Its special details that are widely described in the Bhagavatam 5th canto. So, within Ilavrta Varsha, there is Mount Meru in the middle. Surrounding that Mount Meru on 4 sides, there are 4 mountains, whose dimensions are 10,000 yojanas in length, 10,000 yojanas in height, and 2,000 yojanas in width. These 4 mountains are located in 4 directions of Mount Meru, and the names of these 4 mountains are Mandara, Meru Mandara, Suparshva, and Kumuda. On top of these 4 mountains, standing like flagstaffs, there are 4 wonderful trees which are very gigantic in their appearance. The width of the tree is 100 yojanas, the height of the tree is 1100 yojanas. Various branches of the tree go to a distance of 1100 yojanas. Just the numbers itself indicates the magnanimity of these wonderful trees. And at the base of these 4 mountains, there are 4 huge lakes filled with 4 variety of waters, wherein the people who are residing there can experience complete satisfaction by taking bath in these lakes. And surrounding these 4 lakes, there are 4 celestial gardens, wherein the celestial people come and spend their time in a happy, jovial mood. And in addition to these 4 mountains, there are two mountains on each side of Mount Meru are located within Ilavrta Varsha. These 2 are smaller in dimension compared to the other 4 mountains. They are 18,000 yojanas in length, 2,000 yojanas in height, and 2,000 yojanas in width. These are 8 mountains located in 4 directions in pairs. So this is the centralmost, the square shaped Ilavrta Varsha. In the middle of this Ilavrta Varsha is Mount Meru, at whose base it is spread to a distance of 16,000 yojanas. The Ilavrta Varsha is around 34,000 yojanas by 34,000 yojanas in its dimensions, which is surrounded on 4 directions by Gandhamadana mountain, Nishada mountain, Malevan mountain, Neela mountain. And within this Ilavrta Varsha, there are 8 mountains which are situated on each 4 directions in pairs. 2 mountains in the eastern direction, 2 mountains in the western direction, 2 mountains in the northern direction, 2 mountains in the southern direction. The dimensions of each mountain is 9,000 yojanas in length, and 2 mountains put together it is 18,000 yojanas, and 2,000 yojanas in width, 2,000 yojanas in height. The names of these mountains are: the 2 mountains which are located in the eastern direction are Jatara and Devakuta. The 2 mountains which are located in the southern direction are Karavira and Kailasha. The 2 mountains which are located in the western direction are Pavana and Pariyatra, and 2 mountains that are located in the western direction are Trishunga. In the northern direction are Trishunga and Makara. These are the 8 mountains. Here simple to understand. The width of Mount Sumeru is 16,000 yojanas. The length of 2 consecutive mountains is 18,000 yojanas. That means when they are surrounded on 4 directions of Mount Meru, they extend 1000 yojanas on either side. Thus we can see at the small gap of 1000 yojanas in all the 4 directions of Mount Meru. Here to here 1000, here to here 1000, and here to here 16,000. Thus from here to here, both the mountains put together it is around 18,000. From here to here both the mountains put together 18,000. From here to here both the mountains put together 18,000. From here to here both the mountains put together 18,000. And this is 16,000, this is 1,000, and the width of this mountain is 2,000. Thus out of 9,000, 3,000 are occupied by these two, and 6,000 yojanas is still remaining. In this area of 6,000 yojanas, the four huge mountains are situated, who are same in its width, that is 2,000 yojanas, but its length is 10,000 yojanas, and its height is also 10,000 yojanas. They are the four mountains on four directions. The mountain which is on the eastern side is known as Mandara mountain, which is on the western side is known as Suparsha mountain, which is on the southern side is known as Meru Mandara mountain, which is on the northern side is known as Kumuda mountain. And there are four trees which are like flagstaffs are situated on top of these four mountains. These are very gigantic in their size and appearance, that is 100 yojanas in width, 1100 yojanas in height, and 1100 yojanas in radius of the branches. In addition to these things, there are 20 filament mountains which are known as Kesharachala mountains, which are situated in a circular fashion around these four gigantic mountains. Now let us see, from here to here it is 1000, here to here 2000, and there is a gap of another 2000 yojanas here, and this is another 2000 yojanas, plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 6 plus 1 7. There is another gap of 2000 yojanas here out of 9000. So in this area the 20 filament mountains which are known as Kesharachala mountain are situated, who appear to be very small in their size, but they are as high as Mount Meru, almost touching the peak of Mount Meru. So this is how the different divisions of Ilavrta Varsha are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Now let us see some specific details about these trees and rivers, lakes, etc. in the same Ilavrta Varsha. And it is mentioned in the Bhagavatam while describing these 8 mountains which are situated around Mount Meru in pairs. Ashtabir etai paristro Agnir iva paritas Chekaksha Kanchanagiri. Here Kanchanagiri refers to Mount Meru. Ashtabir etai, the 8 mountains, Parishrito, they are situated surrounding the Mount Meru, appears as if the darba grass which is surrounding the fire which is blazing forth within the sacrificial arena. The fire in the sacrificial arena is represented by Mount Meru, compared to Mount Meru, and the darba grass which is kept on top of the 4 sides of the Yajna Kund, that is compared to these 4 mountains. So 4 mountain pairs are situated in 4 directions. It is like that. The whole thing appears like a fire sacrifice, wonderful fire sacrifice. Here we can see this is the Mount Meru kind of thing, and these 4 things are like 4 pairs of mountains which are located around Mount Meru. So this is Ilavrta Varsha, which is 34,000 yojanas in length and breadth, wherein out of which 16,000 yojanas Mount Meru, 9,000 is the land which is situated in 4 directions. And here it is the 4 mountains which are situated in the 4 directions are known as Mandara, Meru Mandara, Suparsha and Kumuda. These 4 mountains are wonderfully situated, and the 4 trees which are situated like a flagstaffs above these 4 mountains are known as Devakuta or mango tree, Jambu tree or rose apple tree, Kadamba tree and Shatavalsa or banyan tree, which are situated in 4 directions. So the sizes of these trees are 100 yojanas in width, 1100 yojanas in height, 1100 yojanas is the distance to which the branches extend in all directions. And at the base of these 4 mountains are the 4 wonderful lakes which are filled with milk on the base of Mandara mountain. The lake at the base of Meru Mandara mountain is filled with honey. The lake at the base of Suparsha mountain is filled with sugarcane juice. The lake at the base of Kumuda mountain is filled with pure water. And then the garden which is surrounding this milk lake at the base of Mandara mountain is known as Nandana garden. The garden which is located next to the lake which is filled with honey is known as Chitraratha garden. The garden which is located surrounding the sugarcane juice lake is known as Vibrajita garden. And the garden which is surrounding the pure water in Shatavalsa Banyan at the Kumuda mountain range is known as Sarvato Bhadra. All the leaders of demigods, along with their consorts and the servant, they come to these lakes and enjoy extravagantly, being glorified by Gandharvas and Apsaras. So it is further mentioned in the Bhagavatam that when the mountain which is located on the eastern side of Mount Meru known as Mandara, on top of which there is a mango tree which is also known as Devakuta, when the mango fruits of this particular tree, which are of the size of 861 aratnis, which is said that they are as big as the mountain peaks. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions in his purport that their size is equal to 861 aratnis. One aratni is equal to 1.5 feet. Thus, it becomes around 1290 feet in their size. And these mangoes, which are as big as mountain peaks, are so sweet like nectar. When they fall from the top of this tree, they break and flow like a river, which is known as Arunoda river, which flows through the entire land of Ilavrta in the eastern direction for to a distance of 10,000 yojanas. The entire land is filled with this water, this river water, which is known as Arunoda. And these mangoes have their natural scent mixed with other fragrances as well. By drinking the juice from this mango river, the Eksha women, those who live in these nearby areas, their body produce a wonderful fragrance which is spread to a distance of 10 yojanas. Thus, this entire area is entirely filled with wonderful fragrance which is coming from this river. So this is the glory of this river, which is situated in the eastern direction of Mount Meru. And from the Jambu tree, which is also known as rose apple tree, when the Jambu fruits, which are of the size of great elephants, they are as huge as big elephants. When they fall from the top of this tree, they break open and flow like a tree, which is known as Jambu-nada tree. This river also flows through the entire southern area of Ilavrta Varsha, which is around 9,000 yojanas in width. The entire area is filled with this water river. And when the mud which is located on both the banks of this river, when that is touched by this Jambu-nada river and moistened by this the flowing Jambu-nada river, and when that moistened dust is dried by the air and sunshine, the dust transforms into particular type of gold, which is known as Jambu-nada gold. That gold is being worn by the denizens of this entire area, like helmets, bangles, belts, and etc. Different variety of ornaments. They transform this gold into variety of ornaments and they wear it for their pleasure. This is the wonderful situation of this particular area. And then on the mountain which is located on the western side of Mount Meru, there are so many honeycombs within the tree, gigantic tree, which is known as Kadamba tree. When these honeycombs are filled with lot of honey, that honey will fall from the top of the tree. Thus, at the base of this particular tree, there are many, specifically there are 5 wonderful rivers which are filled with honey, whose width is spread to a distance of 5 vyomas, wherein one vyoma is the space produced by extending two arms and the fingers, that is equal to 8 feet. Thus, 5 vyomas, each vyoma equal to 8 feet, that becomes 40 feet. That indicates these 5 honey rivers which are spread to a width of 40 feet, they flow in the entire western area of the Ilavrta Varsha. And when the people drink this pure honey from this river, their mouths produce a wonderful fragrance which goes to a distance of 100 yojanas around. Thus, this entire area is also wonderfully situated with nice fragrance. Then, from the Shatavalsa tree, which is located on the mountain on the northern side of Mount Meru, at the base of this tree, there are hundreds of rivers which are flowing in hundreds of branches, giving all natural products which will require for the people to sustain in their area. They produce ample supplies of milk, ample supplies of yogurt, ample supplies of honey, ample supplies of clarified butter or ghee, ample supplies of molasses, food grains, clothes, bedding, sitting places, and ornament. So, with a sufficient supply of all these natural facilities, the people living in this area are highly prosperous and they live very happily. They do not experience any kind of wrinkles of their bodies, grey hair, fatigue, perspiration, bad odor, afflictions of old age, disease, or untimely death, and they do not suffer from chilly, cold, or scorching heat, nor do their bodies lose their luster. They all live very happily without anxieties until death. Though it is indicated with respect to the northern area of Ilavrta Varsha, but this can be applicable for the entire range of Ilavrta Varsha, because these people are having all the facilities naturally. They need to work for their earning their livelihood. Everything is naturally available. Thus, they could live very prosperously and very happily. This is the glory of this particular land known as Ilavrta Varsha. And the other 8 mountains which are located in the 4 directions of Mount Meru in pairs are here: Jatara, Devakuta, Karavira, Kailash, Pavana, Pariyartha, Trishunga, and Makara, etc. And the 20 Kesharachal mountain range which are situated like filaments around Mount Meru in the remaining gap are located here. So, while discussing the subject matter wherein it talks about the opulent facilities of Ilavrta Varsha, Srila Prabhupada draws a contrast with respect to our situation in his purport. Prabhupada says, the miserable conditions of this material world can be corrected by a sufficient supply of milk, sufficient supply of yogurt, sufficient supply of honey, ghee, molasses, food grains, ornaments, bedding, sitting places, and so on. This is human civilization. Ample food grains can be produced through agricultural enterprises, and profuse supply of milk, yogurt, and ghee can be arranged through cow protection. Abundant honey can be obtained if the forests are protected. So, Prabhupada indirectly showing that even we also can become prosperous by having these 3 variety of natural resources: ample amount of food grains, profuse supply of milk, yogurt, and ghee, and abundant supply of honey. This can be possible when we enter into agriculture, cow protection, and forest harvesting. Instead, what we are doing, unfortunately, in modern civilization, men are busy killing the cows that are the source of yogurt, milk, and ghee, etc., by opening slaughterhouses in each and every major city of the country, cutting down all the trees that supply honey. In order to expand our industrialization and towns, etc., we are cutting through so many trees that are natural resources for our honey products, honey kind of products, and opening factories to manufacture nuts, bolts, automobiles, and wine, instead of engaging in agriculture to produce food grains that are required for our day-to-day sustenance. How can the people be happy? They must suffer from all misery of materialism. This is not human civilization. If people actually want happiness in this life and want to prepare for the best in the next life, they must adopt a Vedic civilization where there is a full supply of all the necessities mentioned above. If we want to bring in the Vedic culture, we need to take cow protection, forest harvesting, agriculture very seriously. Otherwise, we will continue to increase our miseries day after day. So this is the picture which shows all the details that are described till now. This is the entire Ilavrta Varsha, wherein the 20 Kesharachala mountain which are surrounded in the entire range. There are 20 Kesharachala mountain which are pointed through dots, and there are 4 mountains which are surrounding 4 directions of Mount Meru: Mandara, Meru Mandara, Suparshva and Kumuda. On top of these 4 mountains there are 4 wonderful trees: Devachuta, Jambu and Mahakadamba and Shatavalsa. And when from the top of this tree the fruits fall down, they transform into a great river and flow the entire area of that particular tract of Ilavrta Varsha. This is Jambu-Nada river, Arunoda river. This is Jambu-Nada river. These are 5 set of honey rivers. These are hundreds of rivers which natural facilities like milk, yogurt, ghee, etc. And at the base of these 4 mountains there are wonderful lakes and gardens. They are indicated here. So thus we can see how this wonderful tract of land known as Ilavrta Varsha is filled with so many natural facilities very nicely. And the dimensions of all the particular things are mentioned here. The height of the tree are 1100 yojanas, width is 100 yojanas, branches radius extend to a distance of 1100 yojanas, and the height of all the mountains, all the 4 mountains which are in the 4 directions are 10,000 yojanas. The width of all the mountains is 2000 yojanas. The height of 4 mountains and the 4 directions situated in pairs, they are 2000 yojanas and their width is 2000 yojanas. The length of these 4 mountains is 10,000 yojanas each. The length of these 8 mountains is 9,000 yojanas each. Thus everything is nicely explained in this one picture. So here we can see a close-up look of the entire Ilavrta Varsha. This is another images of entire Jambu-dvipa, wherein the different things within the Ilavrta Varsha are mentioned here. These are Kesharachala mountain. These are 4 wonderful peak mountains. These are the 8 set of mountains which are situated around Mount Meru. These are lesser in dimension. Here we can see nicely. These are 4 mountains upon which 4 trees are there. At the base of this mountain there are wonderful lakes. These are 2 pairs of 8 mountains. Here we can see everything clearly. The 4 mountains and 4 directions. The 4 wonderful trees. At the base is the lake garden, etc., etc. And the 8 mountains which are situated around Mount Meru area. This is the base of Mount Meru. These are wonderful filament mountains in number 20 situated around Mount Meru. So the 20 Kesharachala mountains which are situated around Mount Meru can be shown here. They are as high as Mount Meru. They start from the base of Ilavrta Varsha, go all the way up to the top of Mount Meru. These are the 20 Kesharachala mountains. And here we can see a cross-sectional view of entire Ilavrta Varsha and also the entire Jambu-dvipa with their respective mountains. When we see from the front side, how do they look like? So these are the 2 boundary mountains which are situated in the eastern and western side of Mount Meru, known as Gandhamadana mountains and Malevan mountain, which are dividing the tract of land known as Jambu-dvipa into different varshas. These are the Bhadrash Varsha, which is located on the eastern side of this mountain, and Ketu-Maharashtra Varsha, which is located on the western side of Malevan mountain, and the Ilavrta Varsha is located in between these 2 mountains, Malevan and Gandhamadan. And within Ilavrta Varsha we have 8 mountains whose height is 2000 yojanas, which are situated in pairs and 4 directions. These mountains are said to be made up of silver, and following which there are 4 mountains in 4 directions which are said to be made up of gold. The golden mountain, Mandara, Meru Mandara, Suparshva and Kumuda, these are made of golden mountain gold. And the filament mountains which are surrounding these mountains are like small like pencils, and they go as high as Mount Meru. So this is how we can see the cross section of the entire Jambu-dvipa from the front side. The dimensions of all these area is located here. The Ketumala Varsha is around 34,000 yojanas from year to year. The base width of this Malavan mountain 2,000 yojanas. The tract of area of the Ilavrta Varsha between this Malavan mountain and Ilavrta Varsha is 9,000 yojanas. That Ilavrta Varsha, which is between Malavan mountain and Mount Meru, is 9,000 yojanas, and the base of Mount Meru is 16,000 yojanas. Again, Ilavrta Varsha is around 9,000 yojanas. The Gandhamadana mountain is 2,000 yojanas, and Bhadrashwara is 34,000 yojanas. The total put together is 1 lakh yojanas or 0.1 million yojanas of Jambu-dvipa. And when we see from the right hand side go around 90 degrees, then how it look like. The two boundary mountains are of Ilavrta Varsha are Neela mountain in the south and Nishada mountain in the north, and in the south is Nishada and in the north is Neela mountain, and Hemakuta in the south and Shweta in the north, and Shringavan in the north and Himalaya mountain in the south. Thus there are three mountains on either side of Mount Meru, that is north and south, which are dividing the tract of land into three Varshas subsequently. In the south they are known as Hari Varsha, Kimpurusha Varsha and Bharata Varsha. In the north they are known as Rameka Varsha, Hiranmaya Varsha and Kuru Varsha. And within Ilavrta Varsha there are 4 set of mountains which are located in around Mount Meru, which are made up of silver, and 4 mountains which are located around these mountains are made up of gold, and then there are 20 filamental Kesharachala mountain which are located around this entire area within Ilavrta Varsha. So when we see the dimensions, they are like this. Kuru Varsha is 9,000 yojanas, Shringavan mountain is 2,000 yojanas, Hiranmaya is 9,000 yojanas, Shweta mountain is 2,000 yojanas, Rameka Varsha is 9,000 yojanas, Neela mountain is 2,000 yojanas, Ilavrta Varsha is 9,000 yojanas, Mount Meru is 16,000 yojanas, again Ilavrta Varsha is 9,000 yojanas, Nishada mountain is 2,000 yojanas, Hari Varsha is 9,000, Hemakuta mountain is 2,000, Kimpurusha Varsha is 9,000, Himalaya mountain is 2,000, and finally Bharata Varsha is 9,000. All put together is equal to 1 lakh yojanas or 100,000 yojanas, which is mentioned here as 0.1 million yojanas. This is the dimensions of entire Jambu-dvipa with their divisions in north and southern direction. So this is the entire Jambu-dvipa with Mount Meru. On top of this Mount Meru, Bhagavatam explains that there are 8 Lokapalas have their wonderful township. In the middle is the township of Lord Brahma, which is also known as Manovati, which is spread to a distance of 10,000 by 10,000 yojanas in its height, length and width. And the 4 directions, the 8 townships of 8 Lokapalas are of 1/4 of the size of Brahma's abode. In the east there is Indra's abode known as Amaravati, whose dimensions are 2,500 by 2,500 yojanas, and in the southeastern direction is the township of Agni, which is known as Tejavati. In the western direction, in the southern direction is the township of Yama, which is known as Samemani. In the southwestern direction is the township of Niruti, which is known as Krishnangana. In the western direction is the township of Varuna, which is known as Shraddhavati. In the northwestern direction is the township of Vayu, which is known as Gandhavati. In the northern direction is the township known as Mahodaya, which belongs to Kuvera. In the northeastern direction is the township of Lord Shiva, which is known as Yeshavati. All these 8 townships are of 2,500 yojanas by 2,500 yojanas in their dimensions. They are actually townships of all the devatas. They occasionally come here, spend some time for their recreation, and when they have some meeting, they all assemble in the abode of Lord Brahma above this Mount Meru, and they discuss about how the universal maintenance can be taken into consideration, etc., etc. These cities are in the direction starting from east, and they are situated with particular deities such as Indra with their corresponding colors, etc., etc. This is how these 8 townships are situated just above the top of Mount Meru, because the top of Mount Meru is at a width of 32,000 yojanas. Thus all these things can be very well situated. Brahma's abode is 10,000 yojanas, and the two abodes in the two directions are 2.5 thousand and 2.5 thousand. Thus, 15,000 yojanas the space occupied by these townships, and the remaining area is around 17,000 yojanas in between areas and around areas. Thus, very well they can be accommodated and situated as per the dimensions. So here we can see how they are nicely situated. From the east, all the 8 townships of 8 lokapalas are situated wonderfully. This is another picture which shows about the situation of all these townships. So this is one of the picture. We can assume that we can think of how their abodes are situated at these townships with their aerial mansions and wonderful townships, etc., etc. So this is the wonderful description of the Ilavrta Varsha, which is situated in the middle of Jambu-dvipa within 4 mountains which are acting like a boundary, which are known as Gandhamadana, Nishada, Malevan, Neela, starting from east. So these are the descriptions of Ilavrta Varsha. Now in the next presentation we will discuss about the 8 heavenly Varshas. There are out of 9 Varshas, the 8 Varshas of Jambu-dvipa are known as heavenly Varshas. We will discuss about them in the next presentation. Thank you very much.